Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing: single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We're also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we discuss a recent study that promoted the bourbon boom ahead. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please join me in welcoming my co-host Steve Akeley, as well as our special guests, Jeff Andreezy and Katie Joyce.
Hey gang, what's up?
Howdy.
Oh, hello.
Hey everyone.
Hey, so yeah, I was surprised because everything I've been hearing recently about bourbon is doom and gloom, like bourbon bust, the bourbon boom is over, all that kind of stuff. And then this thing comes out, this major study that says the bourbon is getting ready to, really flourish and take off even more so than it already is right now. So we'll talk about that after the break and how maybe both things are potentially right. And there's a bourbon boom and bourbon bust going on at the same time. We'll get to that after the break. For right now, though, Jeff said there's something he wanted to talk about. What is that, sir?
Well, coming off of the most recent cold snap, the most recent worst cold snap in the history of everything ever, what is the coldest you've ever been?
Like the coldest temperature we've ever experienced, or just the coldest we've ever been, like, cold? Because we've got
your
travel.
Yeah, like from your personal.
I'm picturing the coldest you've ever felt.
Okay, I got this, and I'll jump in so the group can think about it because it's sometimes you're not expecting things. It can be tough, but the coldest ever, March when I don't know how many years ago. Kat's 28 now, and she was probably 8 years old at the time, so probably 20 years ago. On spring break, we decided to go to Niagara Falls and stay on the Canadian side, and in St. Louis it was warm, and we were just shorts, and we're on spring break, so you take shorts, and that's how you dress and all that. And so we go up to Niagara Falls, and as we're heading up there, through Pennsylvania and stuff, it's snowing, and I'm like, shit, this is a bad sign. And then when we get to Niagara Falls itself, it is so fucking cold. The breeze. It was like -2 degrees, and then with the wind chill coming off the falls, it was the coldest I'd ever been. I'm a big guy, and it's a small town. I can't just go buy stuff off the racks, but I got to buy stuff for my kid, and we didn't know where to go, so I just start buying stuff in hotels, like jackets and stuff like that. I mean, it cost me hundreds and hundreds of dollars to gear her up at hotel gift shops and stuff like that when we're in Canada for our Niagara Falls trip. So it wasn't well thought out.
Oh, I think
we just assumed it was summer everywhere.
The coldest is that it's when you were not expecting it and you were ill prepared.
Right.
For it.
Yes, that was chill to your bone type of cold. So yeah.
Numerous times, just living in North Dakota and working outside, like, just because it's cold out, like, nothing actually stops in North Dakota. Same with Minnesota, like, stuff, just because it's cold, it really does not matter. Like, stuff has to Like you'd still work. And like oil field does not shut down for a week because it's negative 45 for a week straight. In fact, you sort of have to work even more. Actually, you absolutely have to work more because like you have to make sure that everything is running at all times. Like you don't shut anything off in the winter because everything's diesel. So you just leave it running the entire time. Or if stuff wasn't running, you're trying to get it running again outside. And the coldest, though, that I remember being at work was one night, the actual air temperature, so not the wind chill, but the actual air temperature was negative 36 outside. And it was, I mean, it was like a perfectly still night and just so cold. And it just felt like there was nothing more that we could put on our bodies to stay warm at all. And we had to go outside and load a train with oil. And you were just outside of we had these little tiny warming huts. And like, these were tiny warming huts. Like they're probably 10 foot wide by like 10 foot, like 10 by 7. And there's like 5 of us inside of each one. So you're just like packed in there, like little, and then on top of it, you're packed into it. And there's only a little heater in there. Like these things are not like, they're not housed, and they're metal. So like you're standing there and like your back is against metal. So like that's cold.
No insulation. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, you're not necessarily warm in there. Like there's a heater, but it's not that warm. And just nothing you could do could warm you up. And I remember looking at one of the old guys, and his name was Verlin. He is dead now. But he had this big mustache, and I look at him, and like you would often like you get like your eyelashes will crystallize up because there's like steam kind of like because it's water, and so there's like steam coming. So your eyelashes kind of crystallize up. Jeff has probably experienced this before, I would imagine. And so like you have like ice crystals in your eyelashes, and your nose hairs also freeze up, which is weird. So you have like icicles inside your nose because you're breathing out, like it's humid what you're breathing out. But Verlin had this big mustache, and so his entire mustache from breathing out was actual icicles on his face. And it was just because like all of us are freezing, like all of us are absolutely freezing. Like you breathe in, you can like feel ice like in your lungs almost, like when you breathe in. And it's just like, it's horrible. But I just remember looking at Verlin and I'm like, God damn, it is so fucking cold out here.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can like it at one point, like, I mean, you could put on like all the layer. You have moon boots on is pretty much what they are. They're steel-toed moon boots that are like rated for like negative 60 degrees, but you still get cold in them. And also you can barely walk around because they're just huge moon boots that you're walking around in. You got to wear mittens because gloves can't keep your fingers warm because you have to have like the heat from your fingers next to each other. And like you just can't warm up. Like it's just impossible until you actually like get home and defrost. But like breathing in like would hurt.
Yeah.
And like that's just kind of a common experience. And like your ass, actually one of the weirdest things is your ass cheeks go numb because it's so like the wind will like blow and it just like it goes through your clothes and like your ass cheeks will get numb and like once you start to warm up, your ass cheeks start to tingle from them like warming and almost like hurt.
Oh.
They'll like tingle from you warming back up. Jeff, I'm not sure if you've had the frozen ass cheeks before, but it's
certainly.
Okay. That's good to know. Katie, how about you?
I'm going to sound like a really big baby now.
You were once in 40-degree temperatures without a long sleeve shirt on?
I was at the beach in Florida with my goddaughter, and it was a cool breeze coming off the ocean, and we only had tank top, like it's not like short sleeve.
No, that's fucking cold.
A light jacket, and we're sitting there for dinner, and that breeze, it was whipping through. It was probably like a 60-degree breeze or colder, and so they did not have any long sleeve items in the gift shop at the restaurant, so I ended up buying like a $40 beach towel to put over us.
Yeah,
because it was necessary because I was very cold in that moment, waiting for my grouper sandwich. So
cold is cold. Okay, and guess what? When you're in Florida and you're not prepared and you're wearing like not as much clothes as you should, it's fucking cold. It sucks.
And I feel like every time I'm cold is the worst time that I've ever been cold because I'm experiencing it in that moment. Kind of like right now, my feet are cold at the moment, sitting in my house, and it's all like it keeps distracting me. Like I really need to get up and get a blanket, or I could yell to John to get me a blanket.
That works now.
Because like when I can't fall asleep at night because my feet are too cold, and I'm like I need to warm them up. It's all I can think about because I'm cold at the moment. And when I always know when I'm really cold, I make sounds like Donnie from Wild Thornberries, if you remember that cartoon. And so for some reason, it makes me feel better. Like when I get cold and it just comes out.
Well, let's hear. I never watched that show, so let me hear what it is.
Oh, yeah. So I do it without thinking. It's not like an intentional thing.
Right.
I'm always like, like cold.
That's your cold noise.
Yes, that's my cold noise. As I'm like thrashing around, just like trying to like build up internal heat.
Yeah.
That's oh, John heard me. I got a blanket. Look at that.
Through it, but you got one.
My cold.
That's interesting you say that though. When you go to bed and it's like super cold and you're like, I'm never going to warm up. And then eventually, if you keep your house colder like I do, eventually you do warm up underneath those covers. And then it's really nice. Then you got that little cocoon. You got a cocoon and it's warm. Now, you know, as soon as you lift that cover up, it's gone.
Yes.
As long as you just stay in your, it's nice.
That is absolutely the best when it's a colder night and you have the windows open, and you were able to fall asleep with it warmer and get your little cocoon built up. And when I wake up and I can feel that my nose is a little cold, and that's like cold, I'm breathing out, but I'm in my warm cocoon of the blankets. I'm like, oh, this is the best feeling in the world.
I know.
I'm always thankful when I come upstairs to go to bed because we sleep with it at 63. We don't walk around the daytime like that, but we sleep with it at 63. And I'm always really happy when I see my cat has been laying right where I'm about to go to go get in bed at, and I'm like, oh, nice.
That's huge.
My spot is gonna already have some warmth to it.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's gonna be great.
I'm gonna add to this. It's not my answer because this is how you make the bed nice. So when it's cold out, I will scroll my phone. I'll lay on my bed right before I'm going to jump into bed.
Good idea.
But I'll do my reading. I'll do that. Then you jump in and it's like, holy cow, this is it's just like the cat. And
you're doing it like what Dean's doing for Beka there. You're pre-warming the bed.
It's pre-warming. It's a game changer. If you get cold feet,
that's a good idea.
Give her a try.
So I'm just gonna go sit in bed and I'm gonna tell John bring me my toothbrush, please. Bring me my. I'm pre-warming my spot. I can't move at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Or he could warm it up for you. Just saying.
Another idea.
I mean, if he really loved me, that would be the kind thing to do.
It would be.
Right.
A lot of times the golden retriever warms it up for me. He's pretty good at that.
Pretty nice.
Yeah. On that note, it's time to drink.
Never heard Jeff's.
Oh, that's right, Jeff.
We didn't know the coldest Jeff has ever been because I bet it's gonna be cold.
Oh.
Well, the funny answer is when I was married to the Deuce, anytime we went to bed, it became quite chilly. But the real answer, the real answer, I love duck hunting. So I've got all the gear. I've hunted in 10-degree, never been a problem. I got invited to go duck hunting out in Virginia in January. And so you get to hunt some sea ducks. And we were going to go out to this blind that's mounted. It's built in the water and you're sitting above the water. And it was a windy day. There was little spray coming off the bay that we were in, things like that. I was in everything that I owned to stay warm. I was so freaking cold that it must have been, Steve, you mentioned Niagara Falls. I think there's something to do with that. Humidity. Moisture in the air, whatever it was. My teeth, literally chattering. I got one shot at one duck that day, missed. The guy kind of teasing me, ribbing me. How'd you miss that one? I said, I can't even function right now. I'm just chattering. I've been in a lot of cold places. I grew up in northern Minnesota. We'll ice fish when it's 30 below. It's cold drilling holes and getting the house heated up. We can survive all that. Hunting on some little bay on the east side of Virginia, it was brutal.
That was it. That's
the coldest.
I'll never forget being that cold from my toes all the way up to my eyelashes.
God, that's the worst.
Your frozen butt.
Yeah.
Frozen butt.
My frozen butt.
Your butt
I didn't dare
froze.
admit it to the guy. I didn't know him that well, so I didn't dare tell him that. But man, my butt was cold too.
There you go. There you go. On that note, it is now time to drink. What is everyone drinking? We're starting with Beka. Beka, what do you got?
I've got some Hidden Barn Series 2, batch number 3 here.
Okay. Squeaky. A little bit of a pop there. So that's our lead right now. Katie's next.
I have Starlight Distillery. They're Carl T. Huber's, finished in VDN barrels.
Okay. No. Your mic cut out. Your mic cut out. It was just sounding more like a
weird
interference. It sounded
that
like
was
interference.
An absolute cannon on this side.
No.
This is what I get for not changing the settings.
I think it was so loud that it came through as like a weird. It sounded like you I don't know. It was a weird sound.
I thought her cork broke.
Right.
It was an absolute perfect cannon on this side.
No.
That's what I get for not changing the audio settings and just trying to go with it.
Right. I'll go next. I got Booker's tag-along batch here. Let's see what we got here. No, Beka still has the lead. Jeff, this should be a fairly easy one to win if you bring it. Beka's was not great, if we'll remember correctly, but let's see what you got.
Well, I've got some MB Roland wheated straight bourbon whiskey. It's the Mystery Machine bottle.
Okay.
Got that from Steve.
That's a fun one. Oh,
there you go.
Wow, that was clean right there. That was no squeak, nothing, no slosh. Just a perfect cork pop. So congratulations to Jeff. He wins.
Cheers, everyone.
Ding.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, are we back to talking about bourbon booms? We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show.
We are going to start over.
Is that how the show starts out?
No!
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about the bourbon boom? Question mark?
Exactly. Everything, and we've certainly done a lot of shows here recently about the bourbon bust and things being over, and where do we go from here, and is this just a good time for us because now there's going to be a lot of stuff coming on the market. So we've gone from a bunch of different angles, and then this comes out and it talks about the boom and the fact that really in a relatively short amount of time that the bourbon industry here in 2025 projected to be $12 billion. In 2032 is projected to be $25 billion. What do you guys think about that news?
Those are crazy numbers. So it said that is a compound annual growth rate of 9.5%.
Yeah.
9.5% repeatedly for 7 years.
Yeah.
That's considerable. That is, even if they are wildly off, it still would be great growth.
It still could be great growth. Right.
Yeah. So
I would be very interested in reading their entire report. I did see it was over 200 pages. If you had the entire thing, that'd be dedication. But
that would be dedication.
In there, the trends that they listed with the first one they had was the growth of whiskey-based cocktails. So I think some of it still could look to others like there's more of a recession than a growth with it because of a change in the market. So possibly with more going towards the on-premise site, with more restaurants using bourbon in cocktails. So I could see how some parts of the industry may still think it's not growing, but I think the change there overall, showing the growth will be really interesting to watch and to see if they're right, if it continues to catch on.
Right.
I didn't see anything in the article that led to think it was just inflationary. I mean, we could make the same exact amount, but you end up doubling the price over 7 years. The money is higher, but that wasn't.
That would be high for inflation. 9% compounded a year.
That would be too high.
We'd be in trouble if over the next 7 years.
100%. So I thought it. I love it. Now we've seen all of the doom and gloom stories, and for every 50, you might get a positive one here. And so typical me, I start believing the one that I like, and that's I get all excited again. But it is great to see some science behind what he's saying. There's reasons. Whoever was writing this article or combination, they did their study and said there's good things ahead.
Yeah, this was clearly a well-written article. I'll say that. One of the nice things that I saw in this was market drivers were, growing premiumization of spirits, rising consumer interest in craft bourbons. I saw that expansion in global whiskey consumption. But I thought that was a really interesting, and I saw it in there at least twice. The mention like rising global demand for premium and craft spirits, which I think is I agree with.
Right.
100%. Like, I mean, there definitely is a lot more interest, it seems like, these days than it ever was in smaller craft distilleries. Which I think is
there's a key word there that you said was premium. It's the good stuff.
Yeah.
And we've said for as long as I've been doing this show, which isn't all that long, but anytime you talk about a bust, there's going to be some people that don't survive it because there's some companies that are they're not making it. They're not making it a sustainable price, and it's just not a good product. So the market's not there. When you've got a great premium product, and so many of these crafts are putting out such delicious products. And can you walk into a liquor store without finding some kind of barrel pick today? I know, Steve, you've got the market cornered, and you've got all.
Right.
But most liquor stores will say, "Hey, this was our barrel pick," or something like that. And those are fun to try. I like looking at those and finding those, and there's just great product, even if it's coming from a huge company. If they've got a great barrel pick program, holy cow, you can find some unique things.
Right. So I think the big thing why I think maybe both things are right. We're in the middle of a bourbon boom and a bourbon bust at the same time, in that it scaled up too big. Now, obviously, doubling the size, but I think we've more than doubled, production. I think that so I do think that technically both things are potentially right here. It is not only do we have the big guys had all gone. I'm talking about the Buffalo Traces and the Jim Beams and Heaven Hills. They've all expanded. But then you've got all these production distilleries. I mean, you saw Whiskey House come on, and they've been laying down whiskey since August to now, 50,000 barrels already. And I think that'd be okay if they were the only one. But unfortunately, and again, we need to get a list because no one's put all this together, but we need to get a list of all these that are out there. But, they got the Western Kentucky Distilling Company that the Call family runs. You've got Jackson Purchase. You've got a bunch of them, Garrard County, Potter Jane. You've got all these, big production distilleries, some that we know the names of, some that's not talked about a whole lot, that are laying down a lot of whiskey. 50,000 barrels in 6 months is a lot by anybody's standards. So, yeah, I think that's how both of these could be right, that, yes, there's going to be actually solid to explosive growth over the next 7 years. But at the same time, everybody jumped in, and what does that look like? What happens there? So I think it's just, we got to wait and see how this works out. And so it's still a very interesting time, I think. I don't think either side is right. There's not a boom, there's not a bust. It's just what's really happening.
Yeah, we've got our work cut out for us because I did a little bourbon share, little session with some friends on Friday night, and I had brought 5 bottles. I brought some 23B from Hidden Barn. I brought the 2I and 2Z bottle from Neely. I had some Deer Hammer, 10th Mountain. Anyway, a couple of the people there just said, I don't drink the brown liquor. I said, okay, can you give it a try? And that individual said, well, this isn't what my dad drinks. Right. No, it's not. These are some really good ones, and just give them a try. And she took little sip, and before the end of the night, she was asked, hey, can I get some more of that 23B? And they just wanted to try some things. So if you get introduced to whiskey, or if you get introduced to anything and it isn't good,
right?
How many times are you going to go?
Yeah. Oh, he locked up.
Try it again. You confirm my belief. I'm not going to try that again. So, yeah, as long as we're trying to spread the love, spread the joy, and show what it can be, the boom can happen still.
I think so too. Yeah, and there's still plenty of discovery that can be made within people who are, bourbon fans like us. There's still unexplored things out there, things that we can find. And it's always amazing to me too, that when we get people come in that are big bourbon people but they're only used to drinking that Buffalo Trace stuff. And, what I like is some are open to the idea of trying a product like Neely Family Distillery and can appreciate it. And then there's others, because that's not what they're used to drinking, they don't like it. So it's interesting to see if people continue to gravitate towards products like Neely or MB Roland or the pot still. I still think that's the superior whiskey.
Oh yeah,
made on the pot still. So,
and just remember, it's bad to corner yourself into only drinking one brand, because you will get too used to that, and then you're not. It's going to be so much harder for you to appreciate anything outside of that brand if you're not drinking outside of that brand, because it's a bad idea if you're trying to be a whiskey person, or you claim to be a whiskey person, then you cannot just drink Four Roses all the time, because you're not going to be able to have an appreciation for other things, or you can't just drink Buffalo Trace all the time, or whatever it is. You've got to go outside of what you're used to if you want to actually be well versed and fully understand what is good whiskey and what's not, because I feel like you can't pick out what is good whiskey and what's not if you only stick to one brand all the time.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, your brain's going to do it as more of a comparison then of, this is what I know and I'm familiar with, and then compare all of it, even if you're not trying to, if you're not getting that variety.
Yeah, I feel like if you're always seeking out different whiskeys and trying different things, I do feel like bourbon falls more into the hobby. If you're like, I only drink Buffalo Trace and that's it, it kind of slips out of being hobbyish to me, and it's just drinking alcohol.
Yeah, see, then we just go into alcoholism.
Right, exactly.
Which we don't have to say that because we're doing it as a hobby.
We're doing this as a hobby. We're on a journey. We're
this
literally
is
on a
for
journey.
Science. This
Right.
Is,
exactly.
Right.
We're actively trying to find different things instead of just drinking.
Yeah.
So yes, if you don't, you like, I don't think that you can be like, don't even try and say that you're like a bourbon person if all you do is just drink one brand.
Right.
Like, fuck off.
Right. Exactly.
And you're not going to know what's also, if you're only drinking MGP barrel picks from different fucking NDPs, sorry.
Right.
Your palate fucking sucks.
No. When I worked, 16, started working in a grocery store, and I was amazed the janitor would come in each day after he got off work and buy a bottle every day. And I was like, what the hell? And now he bought the bottom shelf stuff and stuff like that. But in reality, are you any different than him? Who would buy a bottle of the same whiskey, bottom shelf whiskey every day? Now you're not buying the bottom shelf when you're buying the Buffalo Trace, but you're buying the exact same thing. You're Paul the janitor at that point. It's not a hobby. You're not about discovering new things and fellowship and all that. You're about just drinking from one brand.
Yeah, but I had a different bottle of MGP.
Yeah.
All right, Paul the janitor, give it up.
Right, exactly.
We're not that impressed by you.
Right.
And those are always the people who are like, I just don't really like that craft brand. And it's like, yeah, because you haven't opened up you haven't tried to expand your palate. You're stuck on one thing and you can't even try to expand your brain and like your comprehension to realize that there's other good things because you're stuck on MGP or Buffalo Trace or whatever the fuck it is. And
I get it.
That's what you're comfortable with and that's all you want to drink, then do that. But do not go online and talk trash about another brand because you are not, because your palate's not capable of understanding what you're tasting.
Becca, don't you think if someone only drank or only ate McDonald's hamburgers every day, and then they were actually served a great hamburger, it would taste bad to them?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they would only eat McDonald's hamburgers. They'd be like, this doesn't taste like a burger to me. What's the deal? You got blue cheese and bacon on there. What are you doing? And no. So expand your palate. Don't be
you're ruining your palate.
You are. Yeah.
We went to a liquor store once, and this guy, all he could do, and it was the son of the owner, all he could do was sit there and talk about MGP barrel picks from different NDPs. And he's like, I just don't like what you guys have. Like, it's just like not really like my flavor profile. And then he like kept on like trying to get us to taste MGP barrel picks. And I'm just like, why the fuck? Like, I think MGP, they make amazing whiskey. They've won more awards from their whiskey than like anyone else. Really, with all like just stuff that they've sold. They've won tons of awards in different areas. But you need to stop with the MGP. Like, try other stuff. You will realize that there is more out there that is really good if you start expanding your fucking tasting.
If you come back to that after doing that, God bless you,
Yeah, stop drinking it for 2 months. I dare you. Stop drinking it for 2 months. Anything from MGP or anything from just Buffalo Trace or just Four Roses and taste all different things, even if you're switching it up to things like, I don't know, Wild Turkey and some other big brands. Right. Like, whatever. Switch it up, get some craft stuff, and just taste all those other things. Even if you're like, I don't really like this, just drink that one for like a couple days a week at different times. Just drink that. And then go back to your MGP, and you will, I'm not saying you're not going to like it, but you're going to actually learn to appreciate some of the other things and realize maybe this one isn't the best thing I've ever had in my entire fucking life.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's one of the beautiful things about the barrel shop and being able to go taste, and that you can get such a variety of what's currently available at the barrel shop, and that for someone, if they may have gotten into a rut or they're hesitant of trying something new, that experience of being able to go try the different options there in such a variety, and if nothing else, doing that to keep showing yourself of what the variety is that's out there, and to use that to expand your palate and to see what else you like.
and be open to the things. The worst ones, and Beka has to deal with these folks too. The worst ones are the ones that aren't open to things, and then will try it. And you can see as soon as they taste it, they're not really open to trying it. They just want to show you the fact that they found something better, whatever it is, MGP picks or whatever. Yeah, or Buffalo Trace, whatever it is. Yeah, they'll be no, this is bad. It's got a funny taste. The finish is weird. Whatever they say, it's just. And again, they probably fucked their palate up so much they're probably not lying. They just. Have ruined it. They've ruined it.
Ruined it. Yeah. A lot of them have acclimated to the lower proofs too. In a lot of cases, I mean, that's the ones I've seen. And that does take some time.
Right.
It takes a little time to work through that. But my barbecue buddy, he told me just last week. He said, "Boy, anything less than 100 proof,
it's tough."
He's just saying, I'm not a fan anymore." And he said that just came about from trying. Right. And it's taken them some time, but I'm giving credit for going in and doing it, giving it a try and finding out there are some things beyond 80 proof, 90 proof.
If you're only drinking Basil Hayden,
right.
I don't expect you to love our stuff.
Weller Special Reserve. Imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
that's your horse. That's. Yeah.
It's that's what I drink every night. And it's like, well, that's why you like it, because that's the only thing you drink every night.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But just being just so unable to even try to, I don't want to say change, but to even just try to expand what you have going on. It's just, I mean, if that's all you want, fine. Then just keep doing that. But don't try and, put yourself out there like you're some sort of bourbon aficionado.
Right. You're not.
If you can't quote unquote handle craft spirits because they're quote too funky for you, then you're not an aficionado. You're just a fucking snob who goes and spends money on Blanton's and spends too much money on fucking Weller and all these other ones. And you to me, you don't look that cool if all you're doing is just dropping tons of money on stuff that shouldn't be as expensive as it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not an aficionado. You're a dumbass.
Yeah. You're also not insightful when, something's age stated, whatever it is, 3 years, 4 years craft, and they're like, oh, it tastes young. Oh, boy, that's super fucking insightful.
Wow, what a
right.
genius.
Man. I wish I had the ability to do that. Yeah. Read that label and then tell me how young it tastes. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This makes me tempted now of anytime I'm tasting in front of Steve to just state the most obvious thing possible from the label, just to see if I can get him then in real person to be like, that's super fucking insightful.
Yeah, because what I really want to do is I want to then do a blind tasting with, with a Blanton's at 93 proof versus something that we've got. It can be like Taconic Distillery. That's a great bourbon that we've got. Classic notes. Kind of hits on the same notes that, at its best that Blanton's does, but it's better. It's the same thing. It's a high rye mash bill, and it's superior, and a third of the price based on some of that secondary people pay on that stuff. So, yeah crazy. Well, there you go. That's
turned into us bitching.
Yeah, imagine that. We've never devolved into that before.
No,
so that's unique.
That's
unique. Yeah. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Jeff, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me bourbon hunting for anything 120 proof and higher. But mostly you'll find me on Facebook, Instagram, and the Cigar Dojo, Jeff Andreezy, 2 I's and 2 Z's.
All right, Katie.
You can find me over on Instagram at KatieProof.
All right, Miss Beka Sue.
Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website, abvnetwork.com. Check that one out. Everything that we do is out there. Also, come by and see us, the ABV Barrel Shop. We've always got cool events going on. Man, we had a banger one on Saturday night. We had 60 people go through there in 2 classes, 2 sold-out shows, and it was amazing. I told all kinds of funny stories. Steinkamp and I, it was a Steinkamp event, and he and I were just having some laughs up there, and you just never know what's going to happen. So sometimes we get sidetracked and just tell funny stories. I told this story of Gary being naked, Gary Heingartner, and I got insight on that. So, and it's a scene. So So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I tell that story. It'll be coming out let's see here. On Friday, Friday the 28th on Bourbon Sasquatch channel. So if you want to hear behind the scenes what happened when Gary put a naked photo of himself out on Instagram, I tell that story, and it's funnier than you think it is. It's going into it. It is something. So yeah. So check us out with all that kind of stuff. Bourbon Sasquatch on YouTube and abvbarrelshop.com to see what we have going on with events. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. Finance, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.